Hi, I've been asked to show somebody, or it could be anybody, how to do the under and over movements of the scroll work. Now, this type of scroll, as I've always keep mentioning, is a traditional type of English gun engraver scroll. It's a bit tighter than most other scrolls, maybe like Sam does, or the great American scroll. But I think I'll do this one, just to show you. And it's very attractive if it's done well. You can see that I've done the backbones, all of this. And now what I'll have to do when I'm making the various leaves go under or over, I've got to erase a certain amount of an area. So this is how I'm going to do it. Now, there's a choice between making it go under or making it go over. So I've emphasized the main part of the backbone, and there are areas here that are slightly lighter, but it will show you how it's constructed in the first case. You see, all of these scrolls are going around. Now, I'm going to concentrate slightly on the center here. So now, shall we say we'll make this into like the starter scroll here? So we got it here. Now, am I going to make this leaf go over or under? See, now there's one up here that can go over, and maybe we may want that to go slightly different. No, we'll work it out as we go. So I'll do it a simplified way. So now I will take this one here. What shall we say here? I think I've got something underneath here. So I'll take this leaf here across here. So we've got that there. Now see this here? So that's going over this because the backbone is coming in here, you see. So that means to say that's going over the top. So just a few little dabs of that, and now that will give you the area. So now this one on this side has got to come this way. So now we will take this line here to give that the impression that that is going around here to make this leaf. Okay, like so. I'm not making these leaves exactly, shall we say, like going to engrave them, because I'm using a pencil. I'm just doing a demonstration. I think I've lost my eraser thing. No, this is my little bit of blue tack here that I can just dab away and just do. Now, here we go again. So this one can go across here, or I could make one go across here. Now, because this here, this side, I have this intention to make this one come across here. So shall we make... See there, I've got this one coming here. It's quite okay. It doesn't matter which way you do it. So it's just, this is a fantastic way you can design. So I'll take this one here now. So I'm going to start the leaves on this one here. I'll make a little bit of interesting leaf. It could be just one shape here. I think the surface underneath here is a bit awkward. I'll put something underneath just to give me a little bit more to work on. Okay, here we go. So now I've got this. I'm going to take this one across here because that's there, see? So now that line that here was a guideline. I'm going to dab him away. And I'm going to make this the positive line. So now I'm going to do my work here. Yeah, there's a big gap there, but we're not going to worry about that unduly, because there's so many other little things you can do. But see, I'm not taking this right from here, because it'll make this a bit too weak. So I'll take it here. And I can make a larger leaf here. And I'll take this up here, like so. And that. There's so many different styles, but I'll put it here so that it makes that fairly strong, you see. It's according to exactly what size you're making this. I'm drawing it larger than we would actually engrave, but it is a larger scroll. So now here, to fill in that space, I could put another leaf coming this way, see? Because they're living plants, and it's to fill this gap in here, so you don't need, so if you cut away here, you see you've got that there, and you haven't got a wide space that you don't know what to do anything with, you see. So now if I was to use that again here, and I'm darkening in the background here, now I'm coming to another one, which is an over. This one's going to go over. This is down here, so that's got plenty of room. Now there's another method of making it swing back. It comes here and it loops. So we would take a loop here on your leaf. You see, this one can come under there, and it should be darker than that. See, it's got a little loop there. There's different engravers make different shapes, but it's giving you the method of over and under, you see. So now we've got this one here, and we're taking it here again, right? And we have this method here, and I could take this again. You see, when I'm drawing as though I'm engraving. I don't come back. When I'm engraving, you see, if you trace everything down, you go against the grain sometimes. You come backwards onto a cut. See, if I'm going forward, when we were engraving the guns, we did it fast in a way, so you had a method. You keep going forward, forward, forward all the time. So your cuts went this way, then this one came over here, and that one went over there. And see, I'm going forward, and I'm pushing my engraver forward, and I'm coming this way. Now, if I'm drawing, I could come back in another way, but I'm just still moving everything forward. So I'm not making the engraver cut that way and come that way in there, because it doesn't make the shapes I like on engraving. It gives a different cut, a different look. Some looks rather mechanical and rather monotonous in the engraving stroke. So now I'm doing it forward. See, I'm working forward, going around, and I'm climbing the ladder, as I mentioned before. I'm coming up. So if I got a big gap there, I could take another little leaf in here, and I could make these movements here, you see, like so. And these could be shaded away. I'm doing it fast, but yeah, I'm still. Oh my golly, I was out of focus. I didn't realise. I must apologise for that. You see, I hope you were watching that. Let's see, and that's a problem when you're working. You forget that there are viewers. We're all amateurs at this thing. So there you are, you've got that movement, okay? I don't like this gap here, so I would have put something like this in here. A larger leaf if I wanted, or a little curl, and I could put another one in here. It fills in the gap. I would make it, if I had time, I would make it a little bit different. I'm sorry if I keep going out here, slinging it around. So now here we go. I'm turning the page around here. I'm working it this way. So now let's concentrate really on the main part, which we were talking about, is this under and over business. You see there's going to be a big gap there. See, this is a time. So we could put another little scroll in there, let's think. It's just a matter of, it doesn't take long with a pencil and that. As I said, with the graver, when we used to work, this is what we did with the graver. We didn't draw anything out, just the main backbone, and all the rest was cut with the graver as you went along, you see. So now you've got a gap here. I could take this through here and into here. Another one into there, you see. I could have brought it right up there, maybe. Oh, dear me. I'm sorry, I'm going out of focus here again. Apologies all around. Oh, what am I doing? So now I may have to do this all again. So I'm doing that here. And I've got another one here. And I could swing that around. I'm going to do a bigger leaf here again. Yes, I'm a silly. You're in your own little world sometimes. You forget that I've got to keep this under the focus. There we go. See, now I'm coming round here, and I formed in another leaf there. You see, so like so. This is just as I mentioned before. This is just a demo, and it's not exactly a work of art in its own right. So there, you can see there, I'll give you this movement here. I have to keep looking up and see it for you. I haven't made that nasty mistake I did before. Shutting you out. And it's always like those people you see in the photographs sometimes, isn't it? You know, you think you're in view and you're standing behind somebody, you can see the camera. When you see the photograph itself, you're invisible. All you can see is a pair of eyes. And that's what I'm doing now, I can't. So I've got to make sure that you can see. So this one's going to come this way. Yeah, we always tend to think our point of view is the correct one. We've got to think of other people's views and how they come. Right, here we go. See now, I can erase this little line that's going here. See now, that one's come across here. And it can work here. You see, this is the different type of scroll to the main, what I call the American scroll, the popular one now, that just has about 2 or 3 leaves in it. This one is typical of the English that more or less copied the English style of gun engraving, but all scrolls to a degree are the same pattern, so I don't think anybody can really claim it as their own. As the Greeks and the Romans did this stuff. So here we go again. Now, I'm going to just show this little bit here to give the impression of it still going under. And yeah, I'll make this one come over here. Right, so now I've got that here. Right, and so there's your leaf there. and now you've got this one here that's going to go this direction. So we're going to show the start of this one here. We could make a little bud leaf here, just to give it a starter to show you is that. And it's like that. And of course the pencils, doing it this way, are not sharp. I'm sorry, out of focus again. It's the nuisance, this thing. It's pulling it to so I could view it myself, and I'm forgetting. I'm pulling it towards me, and this thing is on a stand. Right. So now I've got that one here. So I'll erase that and emphasize this line here that's going across now, like so. Now we're going to go here with the leaf here. I may have to do this again if it's if I have messed it up a bit. Maybe you'll have to ignore that. Well, I've made these when it's gone out. We all have to use our imagination. I don't think we're so much that you are not capable of doing these things. You know, even if I've gone out of focus, you can follow what I'm doing. If not, scream. Tell me. There we go. There's another one here. See, I can make that come there, like that. So now that's gone across there, and this one's going to do the same. Or I could do one here. Just give it a good go. You see. So now this is the fun in some ways of doing it. It makes your brain work. And you don't follow it blindly. You use your imagination, and that's how you start designing, you see. So now that started there, and I could stop it there, and I could start this scroll, which is coming around here, coming through here, you see. Yeah, like that. And then I could bring that through here, because this is your stem all the way around here. So my stem here, and I'm taking my leaf off here. So I'm filling in that gap there, and I'm making the leaf come here. And I'm going in the rhythm again. You see, it's like that. I'm going forward with my graver. As I mentioned, we never drew anything out. It automatically fills in the space because we're going at the same 1, 2, the same length of stroke to a degree, maybe slightly shorter in others, but it's the same rhythm. So you work up the rhythm of going like that. I'm using the knobs on the end of the leaf here. I'm still there. I've got nobody to tell me, come on, you're getting out. So now, if I was to be an Austrian or German engraver, I would spiral this one around like that, you see. So that would be the difference. So you would get another type of effect on your scrolls. You just have to look at these various engravers, and from various nationalities, they've all got their own little quirk. Because we were all isolated to a degree in the old days. People were very conservative. They stuck to their own gun makers and their own countries, Some of the English lords and thoughts. Some of the continental stuff was a bit vulgar because it was too flamboyant for them, and they stuck to a sort of conservative type of scroll work, and most of the engravers weren't necessarily artists. They were artisans. They had an apprenticeship. They were taught a certain style and a certain thing, and they could earn a living doing the same repetitive stuff day in, day out, year after year. Some lived a long lifetime, but a few didn't. But worked long hours. That's if they had the work, of course. And we used to say, the gun makers never gave you a lot of money for these things. The good quality gun engravers had good quality work. But there was always that saying that some of the engraving was made to hide the bad fittings of the guns sometimes. You just put a bit of engraving around if there was a gap on a lock plate or something like that, and it hid that in a way because it looked like a bit of engraving. And so the eye didn't see these things. And always makes a weapon look personalised when you've got a little bit of something on. And at times you hear, oh, this was my granddaddy's gun. You look, he had this on it. And that. Then I look at the guns that come up and they show them on Facebook. Some of the gun makers and the collectors there show some of the guns. And I see bits and pieces that I think, wow, that's interesting, because I haven't seen it before, you see. And just these little nuances, little quirks that they will put in, and you can never say, even at my age, that we've learned it all. You don't. There's always something. And you may have seen me sometimes put my things I manipulated, and why I have to go, what the heck, I didn't realise that was there. It alters the shapes, because I think it's because, have you noticed what I'm doing? It's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It goes like that. It's a rhythm. So when we were engraving, it was a rhythm. You could hear the gravers going click, click, and if we didn't have a hammer and chisels, I developed the hammer and chisel for my style of work, later on. It's because I came in touch with René Delcourt in Belgium. And that was, you could get more depth into your work, and because I was doing different types of scroll, I wanted to get some body into it. It worked to that effect, you see, so it affects your work and it changes the style. I've never been static. Always like to see different things and to make it different. Now, when I went to the art school, because we had release to go as apprentices to the art school where some of the engravers were teaching you engraving, and came in touch with all types of engravers, banknote engravers and silver engravers and people like that. But the tutor there was George Friend, and he was a friend of Harry Kell's. And I did the typical Harry Kell scroll coming around, very repetitive, and he says, oh, I think you'd do better if you varied it. Of course, that's stuck in my brain. It's like you do when you're young. Certain things that certain people say to you, you think it's not exactly law, but it gives you a sort of a release of what you're doing. And so I thought, I'll introduce these different things in. And over the years, your own style develops, and you can change. Because I hate monotony. I don't like this repetitive stuff all the time. The English small scroll is beautiful if you can do it well, and it's great. But I wouldn't want to do it all the time. I like variation. When you do it, oh, do it to the best of your ability. And if you've got the lovely metal to work with, wow, you pay somebody to let you do it. Sometimes, you feel like that. You feel at the end of the day when you've had some beautiful metal to work with and everything is going tickety-boo, it's a lovely feeling. Contrary to that is when it is a bit of a so-and-so and it's hard, or your tools don't seem to be working, Yes, you do have a fight on your hands at times. And that's the disappointment sometimes, is when you're trying your best and it won't work because the metal's against you. You just cannot get the cut you want to. Your tool's not working right. Majority of people don't realise this. I even find that with paper when I'm drawing sometimes. Some papers are so-and-so's. With a pen and ink, your nib can catch and it can... you always tend to think the other guy's got it easy. But, no, there's always some drawback somewhere. So it's always... So I think that is experience. You learn. You can't help it if a gun maker gives you stuff which is hard, of course. With papers and things like that, you can more or less choose what you're going to work with, what suits you. If you've got a good maker, you can stick with it for life or with certain things. You never look on and say, oh, he knows exactly what he's doing, he's having it easy because he's been doing it for years. You ask some of us about that. There's always some fly in the ointment there somewhere. Here we go, we're going around. I'm still rabbiting on. Oh, Americans, do you understand what rabbiting on means? It's just an old English term. When we say rabbit and pork means talk, in the old Cockney English. There we go. So coming round, see, it just comes automatically. You're talking, and you get these various rhythms. So dum 1 2 3, 1 2 3. It's almost like dancing, isn't it? So I'll leave that there. I'm going to show you how this one goes over now. So I've got that going through. So I'm going to just say goodbye to that centre line there a bit. This may not rub out too easily. It's just a bit. So now I'm going to take this up here. Oh, we're still in view. You're still with me, boys and girls. And there we go. So, I never did any drawing when I was an apprentice or anything like that. Straight onto the bench with Engraver. Didn't draw any designs out there. I like drawing, but it wasn't necessary. All you wanted to do was to produce the work. Sitting and drawing everything, yeah, we don't want to do that. You could do a gun in the time you've more or less done a design. And of course, as I mentioned, I was a gun engraver, and you stuck to some ways to the patterns that you were given. And so there was no variation as such. And old Jim Jones, I was with, he started when he was 13 years old. And when I went into the army, Jim was still there and he was in his 80s. Just doing the same small scroll that he'd done for years and years. And he could hardly do any large scroll, couldn't do lettering. He did the flowers. On bouquets of flowers. So I'll put another one in there just to balance it up here. Yeah. So you can see how that's gone across. And yeah, while we were working, as with Mr. Kell and that, we were talking all the time, talking about the experiences of old times. You can still do that. We didn't have music. There was no such thing as music or anything like that in the background. It was invented then. Radios and in the 1950s, there was austerity all around. Didn't have any central heating. We just had an old-fashioned coal fire that we lit. There we are. So, cold, old Victorian type of workshop we were working with. Tools were the same. Old-fashioned, that have been used for centuries by other people, you know. None of this Procreate or any of the pneumatic gravers. They would have worked well, some of the stuff, I think, if I'd had them. But I wonder how fast we could have worked. You see, under a microscope, it is, to a degree, it's restricting. I would have loved it for all my finer work. But sometimes you have to be a little bit more free and easy with your movements, like with hammer and chisel and things like that. You can swing around where I feel under the microscope and that you are static to a degree. You can contradict me, because everybody masters it in their own way. And, yeah. But sometimes I look at some of the old guns. They've got their little faults in, shall we say, the scroll work, because the guys only had a limited amount of time or a limited amount of experience. But that won't look good. And that's all they needed. That's all the, most, I'm afraid to say, most of the people that view engraving, or shall we say scroll engraving or something like that, don't know much about it. And they can't always discern between good and bad, or mediocre. So down we go, and you can see how it's gradually coming. I suppose this video is quite long, and it will take a long time to get over. I'll have to learn how to make a fast one. So here we go again. And I'll go here. I'm going to do it fast, rapidly, just to finish it off. See, I'm going around and around and I'm following it here. Up, out. Focus. I think that's mostly done now, but I'll just finish this now, because I don't know how long these will go on for, but I'll do another one sometime if anybody wants to know. Okay, I'll just finish this one off very fast. There we are. Bye for now.